do Canadians support Canadian artists? Now, I put this in the title. I thought a lot about it. I thought, maybe I shouldn't talk about this because I know there's a lot of people that do. And I get a lot of support. I do. And I don't get offended if somebody's not supporting me or they don't like my work or whatever. I don't care. But when I talk about that, I kind of talk more as like the industry. So whether it be the publishing industry or the music industry or actors, whatever art you are, I'm just curious if you're watching this, do you feel like your country supports you? And again, that could be fan wise, that could be I can't think of the word. But anyway, in general, do you feel like that? Because I know when I started writing originally, before I decided I wanted to be an independent artist, not because I had to be. I know there's people like, yeah, you probably had to be. If I really worked at it, I could have got an agent or whatever, a traditional publisher. But I just kind of, after looking into it, felt like, and I have other videos talking about this, so I'm not going to go into it a lot, but I just felt like I want to do my own thing. That's what's important to me. Not be, I'm signed with this agent. Like, I don't care. And what do agents do? Do they do a lot? Maybe they do. I don't know. But at the time, it was the decision I made. However, originally I was looking into agents and I was looking into publishers, and I just kind of felt like I wasn't hearing back from anyone. I wasn't getting, like, when I contacted agents, say, or publishers where other countries, like the States or UK or whatever, I would hear more likely hear back. Even if it was a no, I'm not interested, they at least take the time. In Canada, I felt virtually ignored. Now, I will say there was one publisher. No, I'm not going to get into that story because it wasn't really, at least this person got back to me, but he didn't really make sense. But that's a whole other thing. But at least he got back to me, and a lot don't. And I thought it was just me. How, well, people just hate my writing. But then I was talking to a woman who I used to work with, and her boyfriend was in publishing. He had taken, I think he took journalism or something. It's been a while. It was a long time ago. And at the time, I kind of explained my situation, and she said she actually had a friend of hers review my first book, which was nice. But she had basically commented, and I can't, like, again, this has been a long time, but the gist of the conversation was that they talked in their class or whatever before he was even out there. It wasn't just his observation, that the industry does not support artists, Canadian artists. Now, I don't know if you have to sort of go make it and then they acknowledge you, but that was the impression I got at the time. Is that true? I don't know. But, I've heard that a lot since, and I've heard that a lot from so many artists. Like, you read their biography or autobiographies or whatever, they talk about not making it here and going to the States and making it. And then suddenly, oh, Canada's like, wow, she's our girl. He's our guy. It's like, kind of was before. But anyway, my nose is itchy. I'm sorry. I'm not a cokehead or anything. I'm just scratching my nose. Anyway, so I put makeup on. I'm going to be honest. And I think it's bothering me. I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have put that around my nose. Now I'm sniffing. So yeah, so back to my original story. So she had said that, and then I started following other artists that kind of said the same thing. And one, I was just reading about a band. I don't like to say names and quote people and junk like that, but this particular artist was in a band. The band was very successful. However, when they took their demo or whatever it's called to record labels, no one was interested. No one in Canada, I mean. Nobody in Canada was interested. They went to States, they had all these offers. Now, what does that tell you? And it's kind of like, well, but I've heard that so many times. It's not the first time I heard it. And I'm going to hear it a lot again. And whether it's recording stars, like in music, or writers like me, or actors and all these people that are artists, frequently end up going to the States, and everyone's like, oh, well, they have less taxes, which is true. You're going to be like eaten alive with taxes in Canada, especially now. And in the future, if Trudeau has his way, we're just going to, we'll have our paycheck, we'll keep $2 to $3 and give him the rest, and he'll go off wherever the hell he goes and spends our money. But anyway, that's a whole other thing. Not to get political, but I can't help it not to get political. But so the point is they say, oh, well, they just go and they want to be around the famous people and the weather's better and this and that. All things that may be true. The weather thing probably would win me over. Not paying through the nose in taxes, also nice. And yeah, so I get that. But I don't think that's it. I think it's because they feel appreciated. And again, this book I just read, the artist indicated that he felt even when he was famous, he was more appreciated and kind of chill and hang out in the States, as opposed to Canada. It's almost like there was anger toward him in certain areas that he couldn't go, which is weird because he had made it, you think, but people want to beat him up and stuff. It's like, what the hell? That's crazy. Anyway, but that's one particular story. But I've heard this again. And personally, my experience has been, like I said, I just kind of neglected the whole established writing area and just did my own thing because I wanted to write. I didn't want to be accepted and acknowledged by these publishers, which, quite frankly, you say, well, yeah, but if you're a mainstream publisher, yeah, you might get a little more attention and sell more books. But if it's a small company, maybe not. You just do just as much work to get attention, except you can say, well, I'm with such and such publisher. If it's a small publisher, people are probably like, who? Who's that? And if it's a major publisher, you have to get an agent, and then that's a long process. And then the agent has to try to find, and then you get a big publisher, and they're like, oh, but this is how we want you to finish the book, and we want you to change this. And anyways, back to my original story. So, and then media, oh God, I could tell you, there's been some wonderful people from the media, and not that I have tons. I'm low on the totem pole here, very low, but not that I've had tons of media, but I've had some great people interview me, and just very warm, lovely people. And I've had some complete utter assholes who talked down to me and were rotten. And you know what? The ones that are rotten were higher up in the whole. They weren't like small town journalists. They were probably to a point, but they were with larger corporations. And I'll just leave it at that. If in Canada, you probably know what I'm talking about. And, I remember one, she was just terrible. God, she just looked rotten. I saw her picture. I don't know if I want to be interviewed by her because she just looks fucking mean. Like, she just looked fucking mean. And she was great on air because these people just know how to fake it when the camera's on, and they look lovely, and then as soon as it's turned off, they're an asshole. But I mean, you get that everywhere, no matter what media. But I felt like if I was some bigwig from the States or wherever, or more established and higher up in the food chain, she would have treated me differently. I think more so if I was from somewhere else. I'm pretty sure, maybe not, but I just feel like since I wasn't from the same neck of the woods as her, she was like, oh, I'm doing you a favor, and just kind of had that snobby attitude. Again, just my experience, my way of reading it. Could have been wrong. And you probably would get that anyway. I think the media can be kind of rotten, but that's a whole other story. But that's just an example of how, you think you're a Canadian, you want to support other Canadian artists. And I even hear people speak in just sort of unpleasant way about local artists even. And I think, if you don't like them, that's fine, but you don't have to kind of mock them or whatever. And people probably do with me too, with my videos or my writing or whatever. I just assume because I hear them talk with other artists and kind of the same way and like, ugh, like this person's just not very good. And they think, they're doing something, they're trying, they're on stage. If you're a musician, you're on stage, that's hard. That's not something anybody could do. So, and it takes time to sort of build your craft. Like I'm a better writer hopefully now than I was when I started. And if you're on stage, that's how you get the experience, and it's scary, and you build up over time, you get better. And if I don't know, that's a whole other video, I guess. I'm getting really off topic, but the point is, do you think the Canada, and when I say Canada, I don't necessarily mean the people, the lovely people, the fans. I mean, Canada is the establishments, the media, all the people have power to help an artist sort of elevate their career. Do you think they support their own artist? Or do they support them more after they've made it? And suddenly they're like, oh, she's our Canadian girl or boy. It's like, well, probably were before. They weren't crazy famous. I don't know. What do you guys think? Am I just being too harsh? Am I just being vindictive about this? Or is this a case that, other people feel this way too? If you're from Canada, if you're an artist, do you feel supported? Do you feel like you have to fight to get attention? Do you feel like somebody from the States, for example, or UK or another country could come here and probably get more media attention, even if they're the same level as you because they're from somewhere else? I don't know. That was just off the top of my head. I'm not like trying to imply anything. I don't know. Do people feel that way? Do you feel like it's just a fan? Do you feel like the media and establishments really support our arts, or do you think they just kind of support those who've made it? I don't know. I mean, I'm probably not the best position to say, and I, again, I'm low on the totem pole. I get that, but I'm just curious. I'm wondering if people in the US probably get more support from, I don't know, I don't know. Kind of wonder. What do you guys think? I don't know. And I really don't know. I don't care now. And as I've said again and again in videos, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. But I am curious. And, somebody starting out who might have, whereas me, I'm just sort of that point. I write, and if you like it, great. And if you don't, you don't. I don't. I just try to get the attention and bring attention to my work, and we'll see what happens. But I'm just curious, like if you're young starting out, would you feel more ignored by your own country, or do you feel supported? I really am curious. I really don't know. That's the impression I used to have, kind of still do, kind of get that impression from other artists, or maybe we just have too much of an attitude, like we think we should have more attention. I don't know. Like it's possible. Again, I'm kind of sort of, I don't care. Would have when I was younger. Now I'm like, you know what? If you don't want to acknowledge me, or you don't think I'm good enough, or you think I don't care. I just don't care. But I'm just curious. What do you think? Do you think there's sort of anyway, I'm rambling now. What do you think, guys? Like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching this video. I do appreciate it.